optimism among investors when it comes to the Bitcoin. Now, one Bitcoin is now worth nearly $11,000. The most recognizable cryptocurrency, which was trading below $1,000 at the start of the year, has scaled the $10,000 mark this morning, and it's peaked further to $11,000 as the day progressed. Manisha joins us now. Manisha, the Bitcoin rush seems to be the new gold rush.
Oh, absolutely. It has been huge, humongous, and the performance has been completely mind-boggling. As you pointed out, we have seen nearly 940% of a gain in valuation of Bitcoin in this year itself, and we did touch $11,000 per Bitcoin today as well. If you look at the market cap, well, that has been rising too. The Bitcoins alone now hold $170 billion of a market cap in the international markets, and when you look at all of the cryptocurrencies, it is a whopping $320 billion as well. Well, that is a market cap which is much higher than many Indian and global listed companies. So that's what the number we are standing at right now. That on your screens, of course, is a market share that many of these crypto coins hold. So Bitcoin clearly is the leader of the market with 60% of a market share. Ethereum is a second, but just 14% hold. But remember, Ethereum is a very new kid on the block as well, because much of these cryptocurrencies, or Bitcoin rather, started trading in 2009. And Ethereum, of course, has been trading for the last couple of years only. That is, of course, the market share of the other crypto coins. There are nearly 170 crypto coins that are traded in the world, but Bitcoin clearly is the leader in that market share. Talk about the Indian markets, and we as of now are exposed to Bitcoins as well. There are 15 major exchanges in the Indian markets where you can trade all of these Bitcoins right now. It is nearly 5,000 to 8,000 users which are registering every day on these exchanges. More than 1,000 Bitcoins are traded as of now, and the trading volume is about 75 to 100 crores per day that is being traded on these exchanges. Clearly, the demand has been surging, but when you look at the supply, that is quite capped at 21 million Bitcoins. 16.7 million Bitcoins are already in circulation, and with the kind of demand surge that you are seeing in the markets, that clearly has resulted in the price rise that we have been talking about. The concerns have been, of course, plenty. When you choose an exchange, you have to look at the market cap, the performance, etc. Also, if you lose the password of your e-wallet where you are storing all of these Bitcoins, that then is irrecoverable. Also, hacking is something that the markets have been quite worried about. We have seen those instances many times in last many years when the investors have lost all their Bitcoins to hackers. Anyone dealing in virtual currencies is doing at their own risk is the caution against cryptocurrencies that RBI has been standing on. We have seen other global central banks, of course, going back and forth on cryptocurrencies, but RBI has been only cautioning Indian investors against this one. There have, of course, been concerns about money laundering, terrorism money, etc. because of this. But remember, when you are trading cryptocurrencies on Indian exchanges, there's a proper KYC that is done. So that is one thing that has been taken care of. That, of course, is the story of Bitcoin price rise in many of those years. And as you can see, it clearly has been the last couple of years when we have seen the Bitcoin prices gain much stronger. It has been 900% of a jump up, as we've spoken about. And with the kind of demand that you are seeing in markets right now, the expectation is that the prices from here on, after a bit of a correction, are only headed higher.
Manisha Gupta, thanks very much. The Bitcoin blockbuster. Joining us now, Vishal Gupta, the CEO of SearchTrade.com. Vishal, appreciate you joining us on CNBC TV 18. Crossing 11,000 today. It's up more than 900% for the year. What's going on, Vishal?
Well, I think there is a renewed investment in the Bitcoin space, especially on the mining side, and the mining capacity has been growing up at about 10 to 14% every month, and that's basically increasing the cost of producing Bitcoin, and that's reflecting in the price in the marketplace.
But let's talk about India, and you know, a lot of people watching this program, there seems to be enthusiasm even when it comes to India to join the Bitcoin bandwagon, so to speak. As Manisha was just pointing out, 15 exchanges are allowing you to trade in the Bitcoin. We've got about 5,000 to 8,000 registrations every day. Give me a sense of what the India story for the Bitcoin looks like and what investors should be looking out for.
So the Indian story has been growing since 2012. I mean, first of the exchanges started popping up in the year 2012, and since then you've seen a very rapid growth in the marketplace. I mean, today, like Manisha was mentioning earlier, we're getting about 8 to 10,000 users coming onto these exchanges, and there seems to be overall excitement, and every time we see such a price surge, it just elevates the excitement further. But I think the investors need to be cautious, and they need to take a long-term view. When it comes to making Bitcoin investments, they need to be cautious about what they are investing into and have some realistic expectations. And of course, they have to understand this is risk capital at work.
This is risk capital, but when you talk about realistic expectations, Vishal, we're talking about an appreciation of over 900% for 2017. I mean, people will be tempted by that. So what is a realistic expectation given the move that we've already seen? I mean, it's gone from 9,000 to 11,000 in a matter of 48 hours.
Well, I think Bitcoin is slowing down. I mean, if you look 2 years back, Bitcoin went from $200 to $1,500 in a matter of 2 months. So that was 8x, appreciation. From there, when we see the last cycle where Bitcoin was, at stagnated at about $5,000 and it's come to $10,000, that's about 2x. So what we are expecting is as the investor base and the user base increases, the upside will keep reducing over a period of time. And at some point, the price of Bitcoins will saturate where, the fluctuations are going to be about 4 to 5%.
Okay, so let me end then by asking you, today we've got the U.S. Federal Reserve saying that the U.S. may in fact consider its own digital currency. A lot of regulators around the world are grappling with this issue. It's not just the Bitcoin, but it is the growth and the evolution of cryptocurrencies in general. The Reserve Bank has taken a cautious position on this matter as of now. From a regulatory perspective, what is the big challenge that you see for the growth of this market?
So the regulations make it very complex, right? Because you need to create global institutions to regulate the use of Bitcoin, because right now all the financial regulations that we see are country specific, and Bitcoin by nature is a global product which is based upon the internet, and because the flow of data on the internet is free, so this financial information flowing from country A to country B is seamless. So I think regulators will have to grapple and come up with a larger strategy where more integrated countries need to come together and develop a consensus on how they're going to regulate Bitcoin and blockchain-based technologies.
Okay, so countries need to come together on the cryptocurrency regulation, but we are advising caution. You just heard there from Vishal as well that please don't get tempted by the kind of move that we've seen. It is likely to be more calibrated going forward. That's the view coming in there from Vishal Gupta. Thanks very much for joining us on India Business Hour. Well, let's move over now to motorcycles, scooters, cars and